Dallas Cup and Toyota Stadium welcome you to the 46th edition of the Dallas Cup. Up next, the 2025 Dallas Cup presented by Coca-Cola concludes with all Brazilian Gordon Jago Supergroup final between Botafogo and defending champions Sao Paulo FC. Teams will kick off in just a few minutes.
La Copa Dallas y el Estadio Toyota les dan la más cordial bienvenida a la edición 46 de la Copa Dallas. A continuación, la Copa Dallas 2025 presentada por Coca-Cola concluye con la final brasileira del supergrupo Gordo Diego entre el Botafogo de Brasil y el Sao Paulo también de Brasil, quienes ganaron la Copa el año pasado. El juego comenzará en unos minutos.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the final match of the 2025 Dallas Cup here at Toyota Stadium, and it's the big one. It's the Gordon Jago Super Group Final featuring two teams from Brazil, Sao Paulo FC and SAF Botafogo. Sao Paulo with a 3-2 victory over Michelin in the first semifinal on Friday. Botafogo getting past Tigres from Mexico in the second semifinal Friday night. And that is how they made it to this final. Alongside Steve Davis, I'm Owen Newkirk. And Steve, it's an absolutely postcard-like day here in Frisco, and it's perfect for this final.
Perfect for the final, and perfect that we have two Brazilian teams, one from Sao Paulo, one from Rio de Janeiro. Brazil, Owen, has been so big in the Dallas Cup history. We can talk about that a little bit as the day goes through, but just happy to be here with you to watch this one.
Well, unlike the other finals we've broadcast today, these two teams we've actually called a match for each on Friday, so we have some familiarity with the players. Should be a lot of fun. Both teams wearing their prominent kits, and we will have first half kickoff for you when we return here at the 2025 Dallas Cup.
I'm super. This is what I'm made for. Yeah, step aside when it clears the floor. On the mic, I'm ready to soar. Yeah, gonna fight and it's supernatural.
Say hello to your natural superpower. 20 grams of protein, only natural ingredients, and zero added sugar. Try Chobani's high-protein Greek yogurt.
Our roots in this game run deep. We've been here, hydrating the grind with 50% more electrolytes. But it's time to raise the bar. This is our game, my game, your game, the beautiful game. From the ground up, we power soccer.
At CC's Pizza, dreams come true. But the best part of CC's is you, and you, and you.
Me?
Keep up, Doc. Dive right into my wondrous buffet. When it comes to pizza, you know that I slay. These desserts were made for stacking, like these games were made for whacking. Uh-oh, see ya. Reviews are in, the critics are raving, even the super specific pregnancy craving. So come feed the band and pull up a chair. CC's the best pizza value anywhere.
Whataburger, bring back our mushroom Swiss burger. I heard corporate said it's never gonna happen.
Corporate here. We had the bandwidth to circle back on this action item and...
We're aligned. Bringing you grilled mushrooms, melty cheese, and creamy au jus sauce. If synergy like that isn't cool, then we don't know what is. The mushroom Swiss burger is back.
We're bringing back the hits.
What a burger!
It is not the critic who counts, not the one who points out how the strong woman stumbles, or where the doer or deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the woman who is actually in the arena, so that her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls, who knew neither victory nor defeat.
Here we are at Toyota Stadium. You're looking at the north end of the grounds. That will change dramatically over the next couple of years with this massive stadium renovation. But for the moment, it remains as they begin demolition on the east side of this fabulous facility here, home of FC Dallas. And it's the Dallas Cup final here in 2025. And the last final of the entire youth tournament, the 46th edition of the Dallas Cup. Steve, we're approaching a half a century here in a couple of years. And in this Gordon Jago Supergroup final, Sao Paulo FC will face Botafogo as we take a quick look at the starting lineups for each of these teams. First, for Botafogo, who beat Tigres on Friday in the second semifinal.
Yeah, it's a lot of talent all over the field. We saw good stuff from Yerlin, who will operate right out of the middle of the field. He's the number 10. Lucio, I thought, had a really good matchup up and down the left side. KK is the striker.
Boy, does he have some speed.
Yeah, you'll see a lot out of him.
Kaiki with the captain's armband, and I couldn't help but notice that breakaway pace against Tigres. He was a handful. And Justinho, who scored the equalizer. They went behind, and he scored a chip from the 18 into the back left corner. It was a big part of how Botafogo turned around and got that one. Now you go to Sao Paulo. They were maybe second best for a big chunk of the match, but in extra time they were able to get it done over the Danish club FC Midtjylland, and they had a hat trick from their striker, Steve, number 16, Mateus.
Yeah, he's listed there as Mateus Butska, but he just goes by Mateus. And 3 goals, all on headers. And, you know, for a big chunk of the match, you're right, they were second best to the Danes Midtjylland, but to begin the match, they were very good, and right at the end, they got the equalizer, so in the moments that mattered, they got it done, and that's why they are in the final right now.
A couple of changes for each side from the semifinal, as you'll see with the fact that they are playing their 5th match of the week and 2nd of the Friday, Saturday, Sunday window. Takada for Sao Paulo, who started the left wing of the semifinal, makes way. Felipe, who is the starting left back, will move up to the wing. And Hugo, who is the starting holding midfielder, drops into left back. And Samuel, who came off the bench in that semifinal, will play in the defensive midfield position. For Botafogo, their changes are not as noticeable, except for it looks like a slight formation change if the tactical lineup we were given. They played a 4-3-3 in the semifinal. It looks like they are playing a 3-4-3 with a diamond midfield, Steve.
We'll see if that actually holds true. Sometimes coaches like to do a little diversionary tactic there. We talked about how Brazilian teams have been so big in this tournament that started in 1980. There have been Brazilian champions from Vitória, for Corinthians, from Atlético Paranaense, from Coritiba, but none more so than São Paulo. São Paulo looking for their 5th Supergroup championship to go with championships in 95, 2007, 2009, and just last year.
Interestingly, is if that formation change that we see doesn't hold, Huguinho could easily move back to right back. It was just how he started, with Yarlin and Valim as the attacking mids in front of Justino. Referee Lucas Spala from the United States, who is a regular of Major League Soccer as well, will be in charge of this one. So they have a pretty experienced top flight MLS referee in charge of this final. Andres Vargas from Panama, Jaden Rouse of St. Kitts and Nevis are the assistant referees. Jose Torres from Puerto Rico, the 4th official, and the VARs, Danian Parchment of Jamaica and Trisley Basue from St. Kitts and Nevis. Sao Paulo, wearing their all whites, will be going from right to left and attacking the north end of Toyota Stadium. Botafogo in the all black will be going from left to right and going after the goal of the National Soccer Hall of Fame south end. And an early foul here will be conceded by Botafogo, and Sao Paulo will get an opportunity to clear their lines a little bit. Hugo plays it across to Isaac. Isaac to Osorio. There's Hugo again, playing on the left now instead of in that holding mid role, as I mentioned, with Samuel, number 8. Oh, there's a quick ball across and a little bit of space on the left side for Botafogo. Toledo. Kaike. Given away. Poland. Forward. There's Mateus. He's that target striker who is so good at holding up, getting into the box. He scored one of the most beautiful headers I think I've ever seen on the 2nd of his 3 goals on Friday night.
Yeah, really good service in that he hit at about 14 yards and placed it in that far right corner goal, a little bit from the left side. So when you're scoring at about 14 yards with your header, you're doing something right.
I can still see it in my mind here as Felice Berto hit that service towards the far side, and he just headed with power back across into the corner. Goalkeeper for Michelin had absolutely no chance. Sao Paulo with the possession right now. Here's Osorio.
You mentioned Felice Berto. I saw him last week. He was integral in, as Sao Paulo, when I say last week, the opening game of the Dallas Cup in the Cotton Bowl. And he was large in the charge up that right side as Sao Paulo just destroyed Newcastle.
It looks like Botafogo defending out of a back 4 with Huguinho on the right, with Kawa, Marquinhos in the middle, Lucio on the left. That's how they lined up against Tigres. Little oohs and ahs as a dribble past one defender. Samuel played it forward, turned by Poland. The shot was blocked. As a quick start, but the flag is up for an offside against Sao Paulo. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. But
oh, and you saw Samuel a minute ago with a really good, strong tackle over near the team benches. That time he came through, intercepts the ball, and immediately plays it forward. I thought he was really good early in the tournament. Didn't see him much the other day as he came off the bench, as they rested him just a little bit. But he's just really good and calm and collected and sort of controlling things and orchestrating from the middle. That's number 8 for Sao Paulo.
Back underway with Kawa. His long ball down the right side. There's Kaiki with speed, gets around, turns a corner, and chips it beautifully home. Kaiki scores in the 4th minute. Botafogo has an early lead. What an individual effort.
Well, how right you were to point out Kaike's speed, because that time it's just a little ball that's chipped in from the right side. Kaike beats the defender, and the goalkeeper's stranded in a really bad spot. He's still got a little bit of work to do. He's got to place it over him, and he does it with aplomb. 1-0 in the 4th minute.
A little chip over Joao Nazari. Kaike with the strike. And Botafogo has the lead. Kaike had a hat trick in their second group match against Albion Hurricanes. And that is just about how Botafogo would have drawn it up. They went behind in their semifinal against Tigres. Justinho was the one that scored the equalizer. Yarlin scored on a penalty, and then Rafael added one. A 3-1 win in the end, as I thought Tigres started to wear down a little bit in that second half. But that was playing from behind early Botafogo before they answered back. Now today, they have an early lead, whereas Sao Paulo was the one that scored first against Michelin and then had their 2-goal advantage erased, and they had to really suffer before winning in extra time.
I was trying to pick out who played that ball forward out of the back. Really nice little.
Was it Kawa, number 4?
From the right side. I think it was. It was either Kawa or maybe Huguinho. I think it was Kawa, though.
I think he stepped up and then hit that long ball, and boy, did Kaike just absolutely blow past the center back Isak, number 3.
Well, I'm not sure Isak took the best angle there. These players are close to becoming professionals, but, you know, they're still young men and still learning a little bit. And I think if Isak had to do it over again, he might take a little different angle, make sure he positioned himself a little bit better in terms of Kaike and just sort of holding him off, shielding him off the ball.
Hugo Osorio, the captain for the Sao Paulo side. Feliz Berto. Hard switch of play. Felipe heads it down. There's Nicholas. Draws the foul. As he takes a little bit of contact from Yarlin. Yarlin was a big part of Botafogo's Friday semifinal win over Tigres. There's Feliz Berto. Switches it. Out to the right. That's Tete. Little 1-2 with Poland. Back to Tete down to the right corner. Curling an early ball in. Mateus got a touch on it. Not enough. He was defended pretty well there by Marquinhos. But they do have to be very alert. Botafogo's back line of the Sao Paulo number 16, Mateus. He is a handful.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Botafogo back line, pretty much unscathed through the tournament.
Now Nicholas drops it. Mateus on his left foot, takes the shot. Save by Kleber. First moment of the match for the Botafogo goalkeeper, and he comes up with a big save in the 8th minute. And then another effort, this time from distance, goes wide. Take a look.
I was just about to start bragging about the Botafogo back line. At that time, they let Mateus get just a little bit of breathing space. He's able to move the ball over to his left foot, forcing a really nice save out of Kleber there. But Owen, before this, they opened the tournament with a 3-0 win over FC Dallas. Then it's 6-0 over Albion Hurricanes. From there, it's a 2-0 win over a really good Eintracht Frankfurt team. And they didn't really allow Tigres very much the other night, although they did give up the first goal of the tournament. Eventually riding out a pretty comfortable 3-1 win over Tigres. A Tigres team that had come just to make it a big scrap fest, just a really high energy, high effort output from Tigres, and they just wanted to turn it into a game of chaos, but Botafogo handled it pretty well, I thought.
And by the way, the Eintracht Frankfurt victory was the only one that the German side lost. They ended up finishing just outside the semifinals. Offside flag is up. And I always like to bring it up because they've been really involved with the charity that you do down in southeast Dallas and Pleasant Grove area. And what a great thing that Eintracht does with helping out around the local area here in Dallas when they come to town.
Yeah, I was doing a clinic down there with one of the schools that we work with.
Knocked out there by the right center back, Kawa. Provider of the goal. Although you have to say Kaike did a lot of wonderful work with his pace and then his composure to just chip over Joao Nazari, the Sao Paulo goalkeeper. Here we are in the 9th minute. Botafogo has the early lead from Kaike, their captain. Felipe. Curling ball. Mateus was there. Couldn't get ahead on it. That looked like it was handled by Samuel, and by Valim for Botafogo. And it's going to be a Sao Paulo free kick. They'll go quickly. Felipe down the left side. Too far for Nicholas. He puts an apologetic hand up, realizing he got the angle wrong on that. There was room for Nicholas on the left wing, but not quite that direct. Botafogo slowing things down here to take the restart. So a pretty breakneck start to this game. Kleber, who had to save a couple of minutes ago against Mateus's left foot. He will send it into the Sao Paulo half, but it goes out for a throw-in. Botafogo pinging it. Samuel. Kawa. Marquinhos played it to Lucio. He'll curl it up the left side. Looking for Toledo, but not far enough. Osorio. Hugo. Pings it to the feet of Felipe. One of the fun things about going up progressively in the age groups as we go through the day on Championship Sunday is just seeing the technical brilliance and ability of these supergroup players. They play at a higher pace. They can control tougher passes. Makes it a lot of fun to watch.
I mean, at this level, these guys are just short of maybe being offered professional contracts. In fact, a couple of them, for instance, Yerlin, he's already made appearances for the senior Botafogo team. Even by a year, he's made his first senior appearance back in March of 24. Already scored for the senior team, so these guys, a lot of them will go on to play professionally, whether it's maybe at the clubs they're with right now, Sao Paulo and Botafogo, or somewhere else. Oh, and you talked about Botafogo's shape. They try to attack with just three in the back, sort of building out that way, but pretty quickly, as soon as they lose the ball, they drop into a pretty classic 4-4-2.
Nice little poke there. Garland plays it into space. Kaiki trying to get past Osorio, knocked it just around Isak, but the goalkeeper, João Nazari, was able to get there. Boy, you can see why Kaiki is so dangerous. That was an excellent setup play by Yarland to try to release him.
No, it really was. It was a really good ball, I thought, but Osorio and Isak that time dealing with that speed really well. You're with a great little move to open up a little space, but look at that. That time it's Osorio that just gets a body. That's what I was saying a while ago. He got a body on KK, so he couldn't get off running at full gallop.
And if he has one or two more full strides there, he might be gone. And Osorio walks it towards midfield. Finds Hugo. Nicholas turns. Bumped. No foul. Ball rolled on the sideline but didn't go out of play. Now it does off the defensive block from Felipe. And he'll toss it back into Kawa. Marquinhos. Into the middle. Valim with the turn. Finds Yarlin. Over the top. Kaiki with speed again. Takes a touch. Forced out wide to the right. And we have a problem.
Oh, he's got a problem.
Or at least the captain for Botafogo grabbing what looks like that left hamstring. And that could spell a major issue for the goal scorer and the leader of this Botafogo club.
Yeah, three players for Botafogo up immediately on the bench. I don't see him continuing.
That was a classic sign of a hamstring pull.
I mean, the way he pulled up, immediately puts his hands up, puts his hand on the left hamstring. You hope he's okay.
What a great early goal from Kaiki.
You know, some of our notes here say that Kaiki stood out during the 2024 Copa São Paulo de Football Junior. That's a big youth tournament down in Brazil. And you can see how he stands out. He can obviously score. He's got a lot of speed. He's kind of moving pretty well now, so maybe he can continue.
Maybe he just felt a little tug of something and not a full-blown injury, but he's going to go talk to his manager, and it looks like he will continue. That's good news for Botafogo for now. We'll have to keep an eye on that. He's going to try to gut this out. It is the final after all. But will it affect his ability to use that blistering pace?
Well, he's already in the 4th minute made a giant contribution to this match.
Well, they work it around. Isak out to Tete. Felisberto's with him. Tete with the cross. Deflected corner. For just a moment, I thought the assistant referee on the far side there, Jaden Rouse, was going to point for a goal kick. It was close to rolling over when the cross was made, but it will be a corner for Sao Paulo. And you've got to find in the box number 16. He's walking toward the 6-yard box right now, Mateus. And a player is down, Steve. Is that Kaiki again? For Botafogo.
Yeah, too many players around him. I can't identify the number.
I think it is.
Lucas Spala telling him you're going to have to walk off the field.
The training staff for Botafogo is up again.
Yeah, and he's coming out.
He knows. He was trying. It's brave for Kaiki to try to do that, but he'll come off the field here. And the substitution in the 17th minute for Botafogo. They bring on Rafael Lobato. And so even though he scored, the Botafogo captain has his final cut way too short for his liking. Here's the corner. Sent in. Headed away. And then skied into the netting.
And you're right, Mateus is going to be the target on most of those set pieces, and he scored off a corner kick the other day. Also scored out with his head off a free kick. And then later completed the hat trick on another served ball and the run of play on it with a header.
Corrección. Cambio por el equipo Botafogo en el minuto 17. Entra el jugador número 11, Rafael Lobato. Y sale el jugador número 9, Kaiki.
Down the right side. Here's Januario. Haven't said his name yet today. His pass actually went into Yarlin. Shirt pull. And ask for a yellow card by Nicholas, which we know in the new interpretation is usually grounds for at least a talking to, if not a yellow card yourself.
I hear that a lot, but
you don't see it enough in practice.
Rarely do we see it.
There's a grab of the shirt,
but this is why you do issue a talking to the first time you see that, because if a player gets away with it, then you sent the message it's okay to do that, and 15 seconds later we see it again.
Boy, the amount that Poland grabbed and pulled the jersey back, I mean, there's no attempt to play the ball there. I'm surprised that there wasn't maybe a little bit more of a warning, because that could easily be a booking. Kawa not happy as he passes that one into the stands. It's going to be a battle here today, Steve, between Kawa and Mateus. Two big, strong, physical players. Sliding challenge. Samuel goes down. Contact from the tackle by Toledo. He stays down for Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo choosing not to knock the ball out of play with their player down. They're going to keep going. Samuel is going to slowly crawl back to his feet. Hugo. Osorio. Now Isak. Out to the right. That's Felisberto. In for Tete. They'll ping it back around. Samuel seems to have recovered okay. Felipe. Oh, they didn't get the touch he wanted. Ended up playing it into the Botafogo technical area.
Nice and organized. 2 lines of 4 from Botafogo, not making it easy to play between those lines. But you wonder now, without Keike's speed, we'll see what Rafael Lobato has, but you know how easy it'll be for them to play that little bit more low block and sort of play on the counter.
Rafael scored the 3rd goal against Tigres. Some cheers from the crowd as Samuel sends that ball from almost out of bounds, sizzling into the stands here on the west side of the stadium.
I think he's still a little angry about that tackle attempt that left him on the ground.
Marquinhos over to Lucio. Up the left side. Ball gets thrown on the field by a fan. It's behind the play as the ball goes out for a throw-in for Sao Paulo. And good notice by Huguinho that needed to be kicked away. Here's Botafogo down the left. Curling ball into the box, headed away by Osorio. Mateus trying to help, but Justinho got there first. They'll work it back around Kawa. Oh, he tried to thread a needle there. Picked off by Nicholas. Now a chance to break. Poland slipped. And the ball's knocked out. It will be a throw for Botafogo. For just a half a second when Kawa tried to force the ball into a tight space, it looked like Sao Paulo might be able to break, but they couldn't quite connect it.
Yeah, well, a lot of that was because Justinho came in there and cleaned it up.
Here's the switch of play. Januario. Huguinho. Kawa. Botafogo's done a little bit better in possession over the last couple of minutes. Early on, Sao Paulo weren't able to do a ton with it, but they seem to have more of the ball. And then after Keike's injury, actually Botafogo's gotten better with possession. Here's the ball, deflected by Kawa. And he skies that one, but that's smart just to ease away the pressure. And everybody's performance today is under scrutiny, including the technical staff off the field trying to make a touch.
Here's a little wrinkle for you to watch for, Owen. As I mentioned a while ago, Botafogo defending out of that 4-4-2, but the right back, Huguinho, when they get in possession, we saw this in another match a while ago, and we've seen it with some teams around the world. Huguinho, the right back, tilts into the middle and becomes another central midfield presence, sort of trying to create a numbers advantage in the midfield. You see him, he's right now, you see him on the bottom of your screen. He's in the middle. That's the right back.
Speeding down the left side was Lucio, getting into the attack. Went to throw. He and Valim were combining.
Felisberto did a lot of the same for Sao Paulo against Newcastle the other day, but you got to have a little bit of possession, and right now Sao Paulo just hasn't had possession in the right areas for Felisberto to make that good underlapping run and get into those central areas from his right back spot for Sao Paulo. Nice work in the middle there from Justinho.
There's the ball across. Too far. And Rafael, who's on for the injured Keike, pleading for a little composure as he tried to make that calm down gesture. Oh, real battle on the near sideline. I think it's going to be a Sao Paulo throw, yeah. Felipe will go quickly. Drops it, looking for Poland. Ooh, tough challenge there from Justinho. They both get up a little worse for wear. Although these teenagers do seem to bounce back a little bit faster than their older peers. And a foul here on Felisberto will allow Botafogo to slow things down. It's interesting. We had an early goal in the 4th minute. Mateus on the other side for Sao Paulo 4 minutes later had a chance, but then really haven't had anything threatening from either side since. That's about, what would you say, 16, 18 minutes since then?
That sounds about right. Yeah, neither team really finding a good way into the final third that they've been able to repeat with any consistency.
Here's Kleber, the Botafogo keeper. Kept clean sheets in the first 3 matches, finally conceded against Tigres. They went down early, Gustavo Wood's goal. Now here comes Januario speeding down the right. Good early ball, got under it, couldn't quite curl it towards the far side. Toledo was making the back post run. It goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think it was a good idea on the early ball, and he just didn't quite get the curl on it that he wanted. Floated up on him a little bit. Pretty harmless in the end.
Header forward. Toledo. First touchdown goes off the arm. Referee's going to let that play on, only because Sao Paulo has the ball. Samuel turns, almost lost it. Had a little fortune his teammate was there, but a foul drawn. That was Nicholas that was the suffering party. Cook ball over to Hugo.
Oh, and I'll be interested to see as we get up in the 26th minute here, there will be a hydration break. We're a little surprised to see hydration break in the under-19 final. This, of course, the Supergroup final. But those teams were
regionally different.
Regionally different. Well, geographically diverse. Those 2 teams were from Great Britain. One from Northern Ireland, one from Everton. So not accustomed at all to the what we'll call heat, even though it's not that hot today by
I would
Texas
think
standards.
that these conditions for 2 Brazilian teams would be rather mild.
Yes.
Although it is warmer in the sun, I would imagine, than our shaded broadcast booth up here at press level.
And there's still a decent little breeze down there.
Cut in by Yarlin, but fairly easy claim for Joao Nazari.
Yeah, really just maybe 1.5 targets in there to look for. Alfio Lobato sort of lurking. Toledo maybe on the backside somewhere. Otherwise, Yerlin didn't have a lot of targets in there as he tried to supply that ball from the right side.
Hugo playing at left back today as they shuffled around a couple of positions from starters, getting Samuel in, who was off the bench in the semifinal. I thought Hugo played a pretty solid holding midfield role. Nothing against Samuel, I thought Hugo was good there. A nice little connection. Down the right side, Tete cutting it back. Mateus, and he couldn't get a foot on it. And then he's called for a foul as he got into Kawa. Boy, if Mateus can make contact with the ball there, Steve, take a look. That was a very promising attack for Sao Paulo right there. Just missed.
Yeah, what I see, though, is Kawa Branco, the center back for Botafogo, really keeping a real sharp eye on Mateus there. He's watching the ball. He's watching the run come down, but he's not just watching the runner on the right side. He keeps checking his shoulder, watching Mateus, watching him. He's got good body position, so really good moment there from Kyle as he really identifies the one really dangerous player there for Sao Paulo and make sure he keeps him in check.
Looks like Kawa's going to be okay. Back on his feet. Kleber will play it short. And the referee said, no, hold on, we're not done yet. Are they taking a look at this, Steve, or is it just to reset it when the referee was ready for a whistle?
They may be holding it for a minute, but I certainly didn't see much there. If anything, I think Lucas Paulo, the referee, got it right when he whistles a foul against Macias.
All right, check is complete. No further actions required. You mentioned Kawa keeping a pretty sharp eye on Mateus. That's a very wise decision. He's the reason why they're in this final. He scored all 3 goals against Michelin, who, and we said it before, Michelin were in control of a game. They were down 2-0 early, came back, leveled it 90 seconds into the second half, totally in control in the second, just couldn't find a winner. And then it was Mateus in extra time, the second half of the 2 10-minute extra time periods that gave Sao Paulo the 3-2 win. Botafogo did not have to play so long. They the night game, but they scored 2 in the second half to pull away from a 1-1 first half draw and beat Tigres 3-1 in the other semifinal. Felipe.
That was Yerlin breaking in on the other side. Seen him operating a little bit more on the right side. That time it was on the left side, but just as he did from the right a while ago, he just couldn't find a runner as he tried to play that ball on the ground across from the left. Yerlin is the one sort of creative spark that I see out there for either team.
Valim connecting with Marquinhos. They'll find Lucio, who also has a ton of pace. Toledo down the left. Lucio overlapping, giving him an option. Still there, gets the return pass. Lucio left-footed cross, blocked by Felisberto. Flag is up anyway, and Lucio was offside. He wanted that pass a little earlier, Steve, from Toledo.
And probably should have gotten it a little bit earlier. Toledo just trying to draw the defender inside a little bit more to give his teammate a little bit more room once he gets the ball. But as he holds the ball and tries to draw that defender in, he's also giving time for Lucio to get into an offside position.
Quick throw into Samuel. Back he goes. Osorio.
I tell you what, Botafogo really well organized and compact in those 2 lines of 4. And what it's doing is it's keeping Sao Paulo from using Mateus as a target, because we saw how effective he could be in that the other day. But if you interrupt the passing lanes and don't allow that ball into his feet, well, you've taken away the one thing that Sao Paulo does really well.
You noticed as well, they're not able to find Nicholas or Poland in the attacking midfield positions very well through the center, let alone trying to get out wide.
I mean, that's just good understanding of how to play passing lanes, how to track runners.
Felipe back to Hugo. There's Nicholas out left. Cuts it back there, a little bit of space. Samuel from distance and blocked by the head of Kawa. Felisberto serves it back in, headed away. This is a little bit more what Sao Paulo wants to do. Now a chance for a break. Yarlin with speed. Look at the pace coming back. That was Isak showing incredible recovery speed. He ran down, caught, and got the ball from Yarlin when it looked like Botafogo might have numbers going forward.
I thought Yarlin made a mistake there. He should have played the ball early. He had a runner there, Rafael Labato, who was actually on his side of the field, but he's ahead of all the white shirts from Sao Paulo. So if Yarlin just plays that ball forward, I think Labato is off on the run, breaking away.
Ball's thrown in. Switching over to Hugo. Now out to the left side for Nicolas. Couple of step overs just to feint, but not really doing anything. Then plays it back to Hugo.
Well, Sao Paulo's had more of the ball for sure. More shots, 5-1 is what I've got. But not really doing that much to bother Kleber.
The only one I wrote down, Steve, was the 8th minute effort by Mateus forcing a save. Since then, they've had a bunch of shots that have been blocked, or was it 1 or 2 that sailed well over the goal? Shots, but not really on target and threatening.
Yeah, not really from great positions. You know, the other day, Sao Paulo didn't really do a whole lot in the run of play. They sort of got control of the game early on 2 goals off of dead balls. The one thing that I really thought Michelin was probably the better team the other day. What they didn't do very well early was defend set pieces, and Michelin got beat twice by Macias, once on a free kick and once on a corner kick.
And set pieces can be a huge difference maker, especially if you're very good or very poor at them. Toledo, far side with Lucio. Marquinhos trying to play out. Sao Paulo really putting the press on. Botafogo got through the first wave, and they'll continue, and now they have a chance to go. Ball down the middle. That held up a bit. Long run, and Nazari got there. Boy, he's a good 30 yards off his line.
I tell you what, Yerlin's a technical player, but when he wants to, we saw this the other day, he can get on his horse. Look at that. Look at how he makes up ground there.
When I first saw that ball play forward, I thought it was over hit, Steve, but it
100%, me
hit
too.
the grass and kind of bit, didn't it? Hit almost It's almost a little backspin on it.
Well, in Yerlin's speed, he just about caught up with it.
That was really, really well timed by João Nazari to get there.
By the way, all that set up when Justinho, a really good holding midfielder for Botafogo, was able to work out of a tight space, given a ball that looked like he wasn't going to be able to do much with, but he was able to turn with it.
Osorio back to Isak. He'll switch it out to the right. That's Tete. Tete and Felisberto will switch positions sometimes inside and out to cause a little bit of confusion rather than just have Felisberto out wide. There's a foul. Drawn in the middle. That was, I believe, was that Nicolas that was on the receiving end of Huguinho's foul?
Yeah, I think so.
Number 11.
So this is, excuse me, Owen, this is where Michelin the other day, didn't do a very good job. So it's a little different, I guess, defending this free kick as opposed to something out wide, because this is going to come from about, right at 30 yards, you think?
22-4, yeah, right. Maybe a half yard in front of that cut of grass. Usually you can use about the 6 yards of the mowing. In this case, will it be Felisberto with the right foot? Will it be Felipe with the left? They're having quite the debate right now of who's going to get it. It looks like Felisberto wants it, and it looks like Felipe is not ready to concede it just yet. It's always fascinating to see how they try to figure it out, unless there's some misdirection here. All right, they set up. Who will it be? Will it be right foot or left? It looks like a shot either way. It'll be Felipe, and it's into the wall. So not a big tester. But it still adds up in the shot attempts category for Sao Paulo. And Steve, if not for creating scoring chances, at least showing the possession a bit of who's had more of the ball.
Oh, absolutely. We were just talking about it a minute ago. Sao Paulo, a lot more of the ball at this point. But what they don't have is the goal. 4th minute, Kaike takes the ball over the top, chips the goalkeeper, gives his team a nice lead.
Here comes Botafogo. Rafael. Good track back by Nicolas as his counterpart number 11 took the ball away. It looked like Botafogo had some numbers and options going forward. Samuel. Oh, that was a loose giveaway in the middle. And now Botafogo gets it back. And now Kawa all the way, the switch to Marquinhos. Pressure from Mateus. Lucio. Toledo on the left. Pressure from Felisberto. Dispossessed. Sao Paulo can counter quickly if they want. Tete, Felisberto, long run. Can he get there? No, and he's frustrated. Smashes it into the advertising boards as Tete just overhit that ball when it was really looking dangerous on that counterattack.
Yeah, conversations going on between the Botafogo players just about how they want to build out and how they want to track once they lose the ball. That just shows how well organized they are. Players out there understanding and communicating on how they want to deal with different situations. Right now, Botafogo not doing it with possession, just really doing it with defensive organization.
Be a throw-in for Botafogo over on the left. Still have about 7 minutes to go plus stoppages here in the first half. There haven't been too many things except for the injury time for Kaiki.
And that was relatively short.
Ooh, a collision. Januario spun it. Free kick, a play on, awarded by the referee. They continue the ball forward, chested down by Yarlin, and a save by João Nazari. There was a brief shout that maybe Yarlin used his arm to bring the ball down, but in the end, we can keep playing on. Over the top, Mateus will run, but Kawa's there. And there's Justino.
Mateus, besides that one time he got a little room and was able to give Kleber a little something to worry about, he really hasn't had much to say about the match. And it's, again, because Botafogo's good tight lines, 2 lines of 4, just aren't allowing balls into the striker for Sao Paulo.
Down the left side, Toledo trying to thread it through for Valim. He couldn't control the first touch. It's given back. Botafogo get a second effort. Isak, their first. João Nazari plays it over to the left side, and it's cleared by Hugo. Nicely done by Kawa just to volley that away from Mateus into the path of his number 8, Valim. That's a very mature touch from a center back when if you get it wrong, it could lead to a counter. Januario up the right side. Here's Huguinho. Oh, nice little through ball. Januario with some space. Cuts in, blocked by Osorio. That was an excellent ball by Huguinho, sending that forward. It'll be a corner kick.
Yeah, first for Botafogo. They haven't had a lot of the ball, haven't been able to get into the final third a lot, but that time Huguinho found a really good lane, and because he did, you watch him slip that ball in right in there between the lines. So out of that, Botafogo gets its first corner kick.
And they bring up their tall weapons. Kawa, Marquinhos, Rafael is in there. I think this is Yarlin to take the corner, if I'm not mistaken, with the left foot. Pings it in, rattle it around. Sao Paulo trying to explode out of this. They have a chance to get some numbers up the field. Look at the pace down the far right side. Felisberto running, wants that first ball, doesn't get it. That's Isak. Not the first time we've seen how fast he can be. This time with the ball, not just without it.
Yeah, but speaking of fast, look how fast Botafogo gets back into shape, gets numbers back. Even Yerlin, probably their best defensive player. He was on his horse, sort of taking up a position. Had been vacated along the right side defensively.
Felisberto pings it in with a cross. Was looking for Poland.
Yeah, Marquinhos on the clear.
And now a mistake. Chance for Botafogo to get out into space. Yarlin again. He has a teammate with him, and he just waited a little too long, and the lane closed up. He had Rafael. Good recovery by Sao Paulo. on mistake.
Lobato. Yeah, speaking of recovery, Lobato just couldn't beat the defenders down the field, so Yerlin didn't really have a lane.
Tete cuts in, blocked. Good first explosive step from Tete, but he didn't have anyone to really find. Mateus is in there, but he's surrounded. Now a long shot by Felipe. Really didn't look like it had much of a chance. He's frustrated. I would imagine that the structure and defensive setup by Botafogo has done that in 43 minutes.
Yeah, 7 shots I count for Sao Paulo now. Only one that I remember on target. That one from Mateus.
That's the only one.
And that coming, about 25 minutes ago, maybe a little bit more.
The efforts they have had, most of those, what do you have, 7 now for Sao Paulo? Most of them have been blocked either by defenders or by the wall on that one free kick.
Or just
sailed.
High. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. They haven't really come from threatening spots.
No.
I tell you what, Josinho, to me, doing a great job screening that back line. Also getting his team out of trouble, willing to take the ball in traffic.
They found him.
Ball. There he is right there.
Yep. And look at this. Over the top, Januario. That's an excellent weighted ball by Justinho. And now Januario winning it in the corner. And then he loses it, but that's a heck of a ball. Think about that. From just on the attacking side of the center circle, your holding midfielder dropping a near dime in the corner. It's almost as if you planned it, Steve. You give Justinho some high praise, and he rewards you with an excellent play.
Yeah, over there, Sao Paulo, left back Hugo. He got away with the shirt pull and got away with a foul throw there.
Marquinhos. Now Lucio on the left. Toledo. Gets around Felisberto, got clipped a little bit, and the referee's going to do the right thing here. That was a foul. He'll bring it back. He tried to give him advantage. Lucio stays down for a minute. I wonder if he's just a little tired. That was a heck of a burst of speed. Grabbing the side of his face near his ear. We're almost ready for fourth official Jose Torres of Puerto Rico to put up the stoppage time minutes for the end of the first half. Genuario, good read by Felipe, gets past him. Felipe with some speed, plays it into space. Mateus, sliding challenge, and Marquinhos gets it right. He had to, that was in the penalty area, and then a foul. Nicholas wagging his finger saying there wasn't anything in that, wants simulation as the Botafogo player is down. Take another look here.
Oh, I thought he got the challenge. He did, he got it right.
That's a fantastic defensive sliding tackle when he had to be perfect. Huguinho's still down here. Just 1 minute of stoppage time up there. Players from both sides taking a moment to grab some fluids. Interestingly enough, from the players from both teams from the same side. It's good sportsmanship, allowing players to get a drink of water. And it looks like Huguinho is going to be okay here.
Now remember, this is the 5th game they played in 8 days. They did get 1 day break between the semifinal and this evening's final.
I think these two teams have earned a day off or two after this tournament. Long switch of play. Final seconds of the opening half stoppage time. Genuario, good header. Brings it down. Huguinho fakes the cross. Now cuts back. Shoots. Save. Joao Nazari. His first save comes in the 47th minute of the first half.
It's only the second shot, but just in the last few minutes, I think Botafogo is starting to wear Sao Paulo down a little bit. Getting their second corner kick now. I believe all Sao Paulo needs to do is clear this first ball.
It's funny, it's been entertaining, but not a very high event first half.
Well, that's because Sao Paulo's had a lot of the ball, but Botafogo defending low.
Up to the top of the 18 there is Huguinho with a slice of a shot, went wide, and that is the end of the first half. Lucas Shabala brings the play to a close. The goal, Steve, from Kaiki in the 4th minute. An early strike for Botafogo. They have the lead. Unfortunately, the captain had to leave due to injury.
Yeah, and I think that's hurt him because they want to defend low, play on the counter, but they don't have as much speed without him in there. So we'll see what Sao Paulo does. We know that they withstood a subpar second half the other day, but they came alive right at the end and won it. So maybe something like that again on foot today.
So with that, we will take a break. When we come back, we will have some information, highlights, and more at our halftime broadcast here from the 2025 Dallas Cup. It's Botafogo 1, Sao Paulo 0, halftime of the Gordon Jago Supergroup.
It happened. We got the house! You did! 2,000 miles away.
We do long distance moves every day.
With Pods, you don't have to worry about the driving, and that's not all.
Need extra help loading? Yes.
We got this.
Also might want
more time. We're flexible.
Flexible means you can keep your container longer or store with us. Then we deliver it to your home, across town or across the country.
We made it.
Yeah, you did!
Pods, your personal moving and storage team.
This isn't just any burger run. This is a burger run for Whataburger Sweet and Spicy Bacon Burger. 2 fresh all-beef patties with melty cheese, grilled onions, crispy bacon, and sweet and spicy pepper sauce. 1 for you, 1 for him, and 1 for your unofficial roommate, Brad. Always order an extra. You know, for Brad. the all-time favorite sweet and spicy bacon burger from Whataburger. Just like you like it.
It is not the critic who counts, not the one who points out how the strong woman stumbles, or where the doer or deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the woman who is actually in the arena, so that her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls, who knew neither victory nor defeat.
Halftime at Toyota Stadium. Steve, give everybody a wave over the Bobby Ryan 19. There you are on camera up to the top of the West Stand. Thank you for joining us here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Happy Easter, everyone. Botafogo leading Sao Paulo 1-0 on a fourth minute. It says third minute. It was definitely the fourth minute for Kaiki. Unfortunately, the Botafogo captain had to leave in the 17th minute with what looked like an apparent hamstring injury. And so that's where we're at the end of 45 minutes. Second half will be on the way in a little while. We'll have some highlights and everything else. But it has been another tremendous Dallas Cup tournament for all the levels, both boys and girls. 46th edition of the Dallas Cup is coming to a close with today's match as we look at just what a prestigious and incredible youth international tournament this Dallas Cup is.
Remember me.
I'm so hungry I can eat all the tires off this bus.
When you're on the road, there's a lot of late nights. A lot of early mornings.
Not supposed to say that.
A lot of honey butter chicken biscuits.
You hear my belly growling? Yep. I'm gonna need one of those right now.
And a lot of good times with my band.
What a burger! It happened. We got the house! You did! 2,000 miles away.
We do long distance moves every day.
With Pods, you don't have to worry about the driving, and that's not all.
Need extra help loading?
Yes.
We got this.
Also might want
more time. We're flexible.
Flexible means you can keep your container longer or store with us. Then we deliver it to your home, across town or across the country.
We made it.
Yeah, you did!
Pods, your personal moving and storage team.
The namesake of the Gordon Jago Supergroup here at the 2025 Dallas Cup. The man, the myth, the legend that is Gordon Jago right there enjoying this afternoon's festivities as Botafogo leads Sao Paulo 1-0 at the half with a fourth-minute goal from Kaiki. Owen Newkirk alongside Steve Davis. And Steve, it's been a fun one so far. We'll show you some highlights a little bit later. And as we draw close to Dallas Cup, which of course will be played again next year. Next year, the anticipation around this part might be, all due respect to this wonderful tournament, just a tad bit higher.
What is happening next year? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's the World Cup. I think it's going to be the biggest moment in American soccer history. 16 venues stretched across Mexico, Canada, and, of course, the United States. 11 of those venues in the United States. And out of all those venues, which area is it that has the most games? That's the North Texas area. 9 matches. 9 of the 104 matches will be played over at the stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play, including his big semifinal, and it is going to be immense.
It's a beautiful 72 degrees and sunny here in Frisco for this Supergroup final. But coming up next year, you don't have to worry too much about the weather, because even in the heat of the Texas summer, the stadium, of course, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, will be climate controlled. They'll have a natural turf field. And I'd say safe to say we're pretty excited about having the World Cup coming to Dallas. Take a look. getting ready for the start of the second half here at Toyota Stadium. Gordon Jago Supergroup 2025 Dallas Cup. It's the final. Botafogo leading Sao Paulo 1-0 as they are getting ready for the second 45. Owen Newkirk alongside Steve Davis. Let's take a look at the highlights from the first half. And it was the 4th minute when captain of Botafogo, Kaiki, scored that goal.
Nice ball played out of the back from the right side. Kaiki, before he had to come out of the match, made a big imprint with that goal. Goalkeeper got put in a bad position, got stranded out there. This was the only really good chance from Sao Paulo. All the possession turned into that shot from Mateus, but that was gobbled up by Kleber.
Good save there by João Nazari as he denied Huguinho in the 45th minute +2, second minute of stoppage time at the end of the first half. That was basically it as far as shots on target.
Sao Paulo 7 shots, but as we talked about, a lot of those coming from non-threatening positions. We saw Mateus with that one, really the only threat that they were able to bother Kleber with.
Looks like we have one substitution for Sao Paulo. Hugo, number 5. He'll come out at the half. And Takada coming on. He was actually a starter as the left winger, so I would imagine Felipe will drop back into that left back position and Takada will go up front.
Either that or Takada will just play as a left back that has license to get forward.
So that's the halftime change for Sao Paulo. I don't see any substitutions for Botafogo, who have to be pretty pleased with their position right now, Steve. They haven't given up any goals yet. They have, well, we mentioned, conceded a bunch of shot attempts, all been from fairly safe distances, minus that one shot by Mateus.
Yeah, not a big surprise because Botafogo now 5.5 matches into the, 4.5 matches. Nope, 5.5 matches. Nope, 4.5. I can't do math.
That's okay.
But the math I do know is they've only conceded 1 goal during the tournament.
All right, here we go. Second half, switching ends. And the final 45 minutes plus of the 2025 Dallas Cup and the Gordon Jago Supergroup Final. Here's Poland. Tete chips it forward. And it's going to be a goal kick here.
And who is that coming over from his defensive midfield spot to help out there? That's Jairzinho.
Yeah, Justino's been really, really impressive today. Very noticeable. Obviously scored a big goal in the first half against Tigres in the semifinal. But, Steve, you seem to think that he's even more noticeable defensively and with the ball here so far in the first 45 minutes plus.
Yeah, I think so. You know, the other day it was just tough in there against Tigres. It was so good about pressuring in the midfield.
That game was a slog, those two. Botafogo really had to withstand a heavy pressure from Tigres.
In the end, Tigres, all they had, though, was pressure, not really able to generate enough of attack, and in the end falling 3-1 to Botafogo.
And for all the possession that Tigres had early, it was a long ball over the top for Gustavo Wood with a nice sort of half-volley finish. Otherwise, they couldn't threaten Kleber in the Botafogo goal nearly enough. Sao Paulo has to try to find a way to get at least a goal if they want to have any hopes of taking home the Dallas Cup trophy this year. This is in their first Supergroup final appearance, however. 11 goals, none conceded in the group before they reached the semifinal. So far, just one in the whole tournament, and that was the goal by Wood for Tigres.
Botafogo trying to become the 7th Brazilian team to win the Dallas Cup Championship, the Boot and Ball Trophy. Vitória, Corinthians, Atlético Paranaense, Cruzeiro, Curitiba, and of course Sao Paulo with their 4 Supergroup championships.
Through the middle, long ball. That was deflected off of Isak. It goes into the path of Toledo. His cross toward the back post. Drops down. 2! Januario gets the strike on the ball from Toledo. Botafogo early in both halves, now double their lead.
Something about the 4th minute. Maybe somewhere in the 3rd minute, but it was KK giving the team the early lead, and this time 3.5 minutes in to the second half. Januario takes a nice little ball from Toledo. He's on the left side, but he sees Januario making that late run in from the right. I don't think he hit it as cleanly as he might have wanted to, but it doesn't matter. It's in the back of the net, 2-0.
I have that in the 48th minute, Steve, so 3rd minute of the second half.
I got a little excited about my 4 minutes.
It was probably,
theme.
a few seconds before, but it was very close. What a nice ball by Toledo, just to float that high enough to be able to drop into the back post.
Well, the trouble for Sao Paulo was that he had time to get his head up and look for that ball.
Tete down the right. Can they respond quickly? His cross in, deflected. Ooh, almost an own goal. Defended enough by Uguino, but not by a whole lot.
Well, you know what we say when you get those defenders running back toward their own goal before they're able to get their hips and shoulders turned around. You know, anything can happen. Put a ball into a good spot.
Here's the cross in, headed away by Marquinhos.
Marquinhos has had 2 or 3 of those now, good in the air in the back.
Here's the long throw. Nicolas off the head is going to go out for a goal kick.
So Botafogo now really in control. You know, it's funny, you can control a game without much of the ball, and that's what Botafogo's been able to do. Got that early goal, willing to concede plenty of possession to Sao Paulo because most of Sao Paulo's efforts just coming from those non-threatening positions that we've talked about, and now Botafogo in a really comfortable spot. Thing to watch now is, do they have the legs to see it out? Again, we talk about, you know, how grueling this tournament is. Teams started playing on Sunday, and at least in the Super Group, they don't have to go through quarterfinals. They go right to semifinals.
And Botafogo, a ball drops for Toledo again. Can he do something with it? Traps the ball in his feet as he went down.
Nice tackle there by Isak.
Felisberto. Back to Isak. He'll switch around the press. Good tackle, but a foul called against Justinho. As that was Samuel that, or excuse me, that was Felipe on the left side that was the one that suffered the foul. Can Sao Paulo find a way back into this? Give them something to chase. The 2-0 lead for Botafogo. Exactly what they would have drawn up to start the second half. Poland lines up. Long shot. Curled, but never dipped below the crossbar as that one goes over. First attempt here in half number 2 for Sao Paulo. There's an extra ball in the field, so one of the substitutes going to go clear that out.
You know, this tournament has had so many great players come through, and I mean the big names in the world soccer: David Beckham, Wayne Rooney, Raul, a bunch of years ago for Real Madrid, Andrea Pirlo, a bunch of Americans that you'd recognize: Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey, Michael Bradley, way back, guys like Marcelo Balboa, and then more recently, Alphonso Davies came through here, a Canadian player who's so good for Bayern Munich. And you watch out here, you watch a guy like Justinho or a couple of others, and you say to yourself, who else? Who's going to be the next player that goes through to one of the big clubs? And we're talking about at some point.
We were raving about a player a couple of years ago from Sao Paulo. They lost to Michelin in the 23 final, who really looked impressive. And then the Danes pulled off the bit of a surprise victory. Sao Paulo got him back in this tournament. Now a ball forward. Ooh, running out, Joao Nazari. Cleared that one into the construction zone. That's going to find its way almost into the debris field, as that one cleared 30 rows of seats over on the east stand and in near the equipment. Near a skid steer, in fact, Steve.
You know, talking about the big World Cup names, big names in soccer. Just from this club, São Paulo, Cafu, Kaká, Oscar, Edmilson, Lucas Moura, all came out of São Paulo.
Felisberto did not like the decision of who got the throw in. It went to Botafogo's way. Fourth official was standing right there, but I don't know if he got a great look at it. Long throw by Lucio. Valim heads it down. Turn. Rafael did not do what he wanted with that ball. Here's Eugenio. Poked away by Takada. A little bit of space, sliding challenge, and Kawa had to get there. He got there. Ball still in play.
Nice job by Kawa.
If he misses that, Sao Paulo really would have had some space to run and some numbers going forward. Here's Rafael Lovato. Back it goes. Valim lines it up. Oh, what a strike! 24 yards. Just sizzled it in the bottom corner. It's 3 for Botafogo, and that might just wrap up the Dallas Cup for this Brazilian side.
Hey, you talk about shot efficiency. 5 shots for Botafogo, but 3 of them have gone in. I think that might have been the best one of the lot. That's at about 26 yards. Valim hitting that with power and accuracy. It gets by Nazari. 3-0 in the 55th minute. And it is a long, excuse me, Owen, that is a long, long road back for the team from São Paulo.
An absolute laser from about 24 yards. Smashed it low into the left corner. It looked like João Nazari really had no chance to get it because of the pace and the accuracy. That's one of those shots that you'll dream about. We're going to see a substitution here as Samuel, the defensive midfielder for São Paulo, is coming off. Number 13, which is Cassio Neto, will come on. And then it appears that Perivan dos Santos is also about to come in, number 18. Oh, no, that's Tete, excuse me. Just the one change. Tete was standing because of the goal kick right by the substitute. I thought there were 2 for a minute, just a confusion. So just the one change as Samuel comes out. And Cassio Neto is on, number 13 for Sao Paulo.
Botafogo, they reached the semifinal last year, Owen. Really impressive in the group stage. Wins over Michelin, Santos Laguna, and St. Louis FC, but they lost in the semifinals to FC Dallas. This year, going a step further, and looks like 2 steps further.
Well, Neto is a different positional player than Samuel. So I'd be curious to see how they change that, but they have another attacking player on the field, and they need it. They're down by 3. No point in holding back now. They need goals, and they need a lot of them. Looks like Poland may be dropping in a little deeper. Number 10. A shot from distance. That was Tete coming across from about 24 yards, threatening Kleber, but just above the crossbar.
But it's exactly the same thing we keep talking about. I mean, that one wasn't far away, but you said it. I mean, that shot coming at 24 yards, those are low percentage opportunities. São Paulo just going to have to try to find a way to get a little higher quality chances if they're going to find any way back into the match.
Here's Felisberto.
I mean, at this point, Botafogo outscoring their opposition in 5 games, 17-1. You see that sometimes in the younger age groups, but, you know, all the super group teams are quality. You mentioned it a while ago. I mean, Albion Hurricanes, FC Dallas, those are good teams, but Eintracht Frankfurt always brings a great team here. Good team again this year. They just couldn't quite squeeze their way into the tournament semifinals.
Sao Paulo scored plenty of goals. They had 12 in the group, only conceded once. Then they were able to score 3 in the semifinal against Midtjylland. But they have been held off the scoreboard for the first nearly hour of this final by Botafogo. A very disciplined and drilled defensive side that has also put 3 in the net. Sao Paulo draws a foul, though, as Mateus. Steve, you got to give Botafogo credit. They've, for the most part, really limited Mateus's impact in the attack.
Yeah, again, that's all about good, tight defensive organization. Know how to play those passing lanes. If you play the passing lanes right with 2 really tightly knit banks of 4, and they just can't find their target striker.
Felisberto with the cross blocked, and it's going out for a corner. So Sao Paulo will have another chance from the right corner's flag. It'll be their second of the game. And Nicholas is going to take this one with his left foot.
Players having to look right into the sun.
Ball comes in, it's headed away. Yarlem is trying to back out of that one. Couldn't do it. Shot by Osorio was blocked. Felisberto sailed over. A couple of shots there from Sao Paulo, but again, not forcing a save from Kleber.
Kleber having to go down one time to make a quality save. Otherwise, all the work being done by the young men out in front of him.
Isak brings it down. Well, they've been treated to 3 goals, these spectators here in the final at Toyota Stadium, but they were hoping for a little bit more back and forth. Botafogo has really controlled this one for large portions of it. Timely goals. Yarlin drops it back. Valim scored a gorgeous goal moments ago. Lucio. Justinho turns it back. Marquinhos. He'll find Kawa.
It's interesting, Owen, because you said it a minute ago, controlling the game, but first half, Botafogo controlled the game, but without a lot of possession.
Without the ball, yeah.
And this half doing it with just a little bit more of the ball, moving the lines up a little bit. And being rewarded with 2 goals after the break. And now, honestly, it's just a matter for the team out of Rio de Janeiro just to manage out the last half hour.
Justinho with the ball down the left side. Toledo could not control it. But it goes back to Valim. In the slot. A shot. Oh, Yarlin there was denied by a good defensive block from Osorio, the Sao Paulo captain.
It's always dangerous when you read body language, but I don't know, Owen, to me, the team out of Sao Paulo looking a little dispirited. You can understand it. That just nothing has worked in terms of finding their way into the final third with any kind of effective, repetitive ways.
Felisberto running out of space, and a quick throw in back in. Picked off. More frustration from Sao Paulo. They just cannot break through this stifling pressure from Botafogo. It'll be a corner kick.
Well, it's really interesting because I thought Botafogo did so well in just sitting back in the 2 blocks of 4, defending out of that tightly knit 4-4-2. And this half, they've moved the lines up a little bit more of a press, a little bit more mid-block, and they've really kept Sao Paulo from having all that possession.
Lucio wanted the play short. Instead, they'll hit the corner long toward the back post. Headed away by Osorio again. Toledo back in towards Marquinhos. Header goes up, it goes over, and it will be a goal kick.
Marquinhos effective in the air, clearing balls from his center back position, but clearly also he can be a threat on those set pieces.
Sao Paulo getting it up the field here, but can they do anything against? Look at the numbers back, Steve, for Botafogo.
Oh, they do such a good job of that. You know, sometimes it's just math. I mean, if you can get enough numbers back, it makes it very difficult. And there are no passengers out there for Botafogo. Everybody's getting back on defense.
Felisberto holds off of Toledo, curls it in towards Mateus. He couldn't find the header. That's tough looking into the afternoon setting sun. They keep possession over on the far left side. Turn. Takada. And they win a corner out of all that. That wasn't the most fluid defending by Kawa, but
no, it was a little bit of a mess, wasn't it?
We're going to get a referee's whistle here. It's a corner kick, and I don't know if
he was checking for something, maybe his VAR.
He has a word here. I think he spotted somebody maybe oh, it's a shin guard for Poland. He let the play continue, but the next stoppage, I was wondering whose that was, and it was the Sao Paulo midfielder. So they'll be allowed to play on now that he's collected his errant piece of equipment. Felipe with the ball in, claimed by Kleber. And he'll start to take his time. They're up by 3. Probably don't really need to do that. But he'll roll it out. And Marquinhos will find Kawa. Long ball really didn't find anybody. And Botafogo might be just happy to sit back in and protect this 3-goal lead. What else can Sao Paulo do? They do have some more substitutes available. How much do they have left as far as a pushback? Eugenio spins out of the heavy press, goes down, gets a foul.
I mean, Eugenio is trapped in his own corner. He's got 2 white shirts all over him, and he manages to work his way out. And sometimes working your way out doesn't necessarily mean connecting a pass, doesn't mean dribbling out. Sometimes it just means drawing a foul, and then you get to move your lines up, take the free kick.
Botafogo's going to make a couple of substitutions here as Toledo will be the first withdrawn of the 2, along with Valim. Valim with a gorgeous 3rd goal. Kawazapolini, who came on in the semifinal. And Iago, number 18, both coming in. 67th minute double substitution for the team with a 3-goal lead.
Substitution has occurred for Botafogo in the 67th minute. Leaving the match, number 7, Kawan Toledo, and number 8, Bernardo Malim. Entering the match, number 18, Iago.
Down the left side, Rafael Lobato lost it. Felisberto cleared it away.
We are in the 67th minute, and that's really the first time you just saw they've really been able to connect with Macias on that target play, and really didn't come to anything for Sao Paulo.
Here's Lucio on the left. Down he goes toward the corner, curling. A little flick header, it drops. Januario blocked. Oh, he couldn't believe it. He had a chance for his second. It's a corner, but he wanted much better. I feel like he maybe didn't get all of that one.
Yeah, and it's about the same spot on the field on that back post that he got his first goal.
Good block.
Oh, it was.
Is that Felipe over on the left side? It was. It's number 6. It's interesting, they started Felipe as the left wing today. He was the left back for the semifinal.
Sao Paulo about to make 2 changes here.
Claimed by the goalkeeper, João Nazari. And then he tries to punt it. Kawa got in the way. It'll be a free kick. Now a giveaway. Botafogo with a chance to turn right back around and go again. Kawa Zappolini, the cross, header down. Easy save in the end from the goalkeeper. But this is not where Sao Paulo wants to be. This is exactly where Botafogo wants to be. Attacking with a 3-goal lead. Looks like Henrique Bell and Arnold Peña will be introduced shortly for Sao Paulo. Tete, nice little move there. Dances past Lucio.
Another big tackle there from Justinho, and look at him.
He should celebrate that one. That's an excellent play by Justinho. And the substitutions now. Poland will be coming out. And Tete. Henrique Bell, Arnold Peña.
Both these teams allowed 6 subs today. Once you leave, you cannot come back in.
Poland and number 18, Tete.
There's a chance for Nicolas, cleared away. Another celebratory defensive effort from Botafogo. They seem to be very willing to do that, especially with a 3-0 lead. Foul called here on Sao Paulo as Yarlin draws the contact.
I tell you what, you've gone almost 5 games in a tournament with quality teams. Excuse me, and you've only allowed 1 goal. Go ahead and celebrate your defensive victories. You've earned it. Clearly, they work hard on defense. They work hard on being organized, being in the right places, closing the right spaces. Look at that. Nicely worked out. Justinho with the entry ball.
Early pass in, a little too far. They were trying to find Iago, the substitute. Now Zappolini picked off. Sao Paulo still have about 20 minutes to play. They need to start chipping away if they have any hopes. Felipe making a long run from the left back position all the way across the field. He looks like he's worn out. He's trying his best to come up with something to get his team back in this one.
Hey, speaking of worn out, I think Justinho's race is just about run. He's been so good today, but 70 minutes in, 71st minute, he just looks plumb knackered to me.
I think Felipe might just be coming out of this one as another Felipe Guimarães is getting ready to be introduced. Justinho picked off. Peña. Mateus caught from behind. Justinho celebrates it again, but a little premature because Sao Paulo gets the ball. Excuse me, that was Eugenio was the celebratory tackle that time. On the right, Zappolini wants some help, doesn't really have anything there. Felipe. Sao Paulo putting a lot of numbers forward now. They have to find a way to break down this heavy back line. Looks like Botafogo defending with a back 5. And now a foul called on Iago. And the substitution for Sao Paulo will be not, no, they're just going to say keep going. They don't want to make it just yet. We'll play it quickly. Kawa Zappolini, right side, curling ball into the box. Header, wide. It was over Mateus. Nicholas found a piece of it, I believe.
And that's going to be Mateus's last action in this match as he goes off as close as he can to the boundary so they can get the next sub in, Felipe Guimaraes.
73rd minute. Entering the field is number 9. Felipe Guimaraes. Leaving the field is number 16.
Sixth and final substitution. And Mateus, quality player, Steve, just not able to make the impact today that he was in the semifinal. And now a foul. And that one seemed a bit rash. The referee tells him to calm down as he's only been on the field for a matter of moments.
Lucas Spala, I know he's just come on, but Lucas Spala needs to do more than tell him to calm down. I mean, this game in the 74th minute is just about decided, so he does get a yellow card. Well deserved.
That's the right call.
Yeah, it is. You'll see it here. I mean, that's tough. If there's any chance at all for Sao Paulo to work their way back into this match, and the chances are just ticking away by the moment, they've got to keep their heads. Certainly can't go a man down. So just procedurally here, I don't think you're going to need this information, but just in case something strange happens, Sao Paulo scores 3 goals. If this game were to be level at the conclusion of 90 minutes, would have 2 10-minute overtime extra time periods. If it's still level, we'll have what FIFA now likes to call kicks from the spot. Old school, we used to know those as penalty kicks.
It's a tough part of the afternoon here as the sun setting to the west. You can see the shadows starting to creep across the field. And so the players in the sun, you go in and out of light versus dark, but also anything looking towards the west will have that sun in their eyes. The new Toyota Stadium, the massive 3-year renovation project, will have huge canopies on both sides, and I think that will alleviate a lot of the sun.
Certainly keep you protected from the wet stuff.
The old Toyota Stadium, if you will, the current one, did not have that kind of cover, especially over on the east side, completely exposed if there was rain or severe weather. We've been here for some pretty lengthy delays.
You get enough severe weather around here, you get wet in this press box.
Even with the overhang.
A little bit of an overhang, yeah.
The best cover, of course, is the new canopy down at the south end. Felice Berto. Isaac. There's Felipe. Botafogo is going to add a couple of players to this match. Cleared away defensively.
I'd be shocked if Justino's not coming out because he's just walking around out there. He's put in so much work. He's been so good today.
Here's Felipe again. I thought he would be removed. He won't be. He'll play the full 90 plus. Here's Pena. Dancing. Arnold Pena intercepted. Tipped away by Yarlin. Couple of touches by Iago, but he got caught pretty quickly. Good work by Pena.
There's a nice tackle on the other side by Lobato, who came in as a striker, but he can do a little work defensively, clearly.
Felipe showing the frustration and fatigue. That ball was not where he wanted it to be. Here come the substitutes for Botafogo. It'll be Kawa Mateus, number 13. And number 16.
We have a substitution for Botafogo.
Another Mateus. Mateusinho.
Number 15, Felipe Januario. And number 6, Lucio.
Januario and Lucio will come out of the game here in the 77th minute. So Kawa Cruz is number 13 for Botafogo.
Entra al campo el jugador número 13, Kawa Cruz, y el número 16, Mateusinho.
Looks like Mateusinho is going to play on the left side. So is Kawa Cruz. Kawa Cruz going in to Lucio's spot on the left side. Matricino's going to play up ahead of him.
Foul. It'll be a free kick for Sao Paulo. Felisberto is very frustrated at the moment. Felipe.
A lot of frustration from Sao Paulo. 4-time Supergroup champs. Defending champs, as a matter of fact. But unless they can do a lot more to threaten threaten Kleber back in Botafogo goal, that run's going to end.
Mateucino down the left. He lost it to Osorio, who felt the contact and shrugged off Yarlin. That's a big, strong play by the Sao Paulo captain. He wants to keep going. See if they give him the ball back. Charging run. Nicolas out to the right. Pena, the cross. Good connection. Couldn't find his man on the far side. That was Takada. Now just on Felipe Guiares. Picked up a yellow card within seconds of being introduced. Enrique Bell.
Luquinho doing more good defensive work on the right side for Botafogo.
Botafogo dropping everybody deep to help defend there. Not taking a moment to rest here with a 3-0 lead with just over 11 minutes to go.
It's hard to see with the shadows, but if you look right now, look at those two lines. They're only separated by about 10 yards. And it's just so hard to get through when you're that well organized.
Here's Takada. That's cleared by Kawa. Stepping out. Osorio. Great save by Kleber. Right hand, full stretch, tips it around the right post as he denies the center back Osorio from what would have been a spectacular finish at about 22 yards. That's a great save.
Well, that's a great shot, too. One of the best of the day for Sao Paulo, and it's got to be frustrating when you finally get a little bit of room and get off a good shot, and then you got to beat that guy as well, because that is full stretch. You're right. That is a absolutely sensational save.
I feel like that's the best save we've seen today.
I think so.
And
then a catch in traffic. How about that?
Very comfortable.
Little cherry on the cake. I tell you what, sometimes, I get frustrated sometimes when I hear announcers doing our job saying, great save, sensational save, and it's really not. It's just a routine save. But that was something special.
I appreciate you not selling me up the creek.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, no, I'm talking about those other guys.
Justino, 10 minutes to go. Long ball forward. Iago.
Oh, he lost that in the sun.
Isak lost tracking there. Boguinho. Ooh, he tried to thread that one to Yarlin. It was just behind him. Botafogo still looking dangerous on the counter, although they haven't really put together that pass in the final third. They don't need to right now. They're up by 3.
I mean, you're looking out there. Talking about maybe finding a man of the match, but, goals by Kaike, Januario, Valim, terrific play in the middle from Justino, terrific save there by Kleber. I mean, good performances all over the field from Botafogo.
Pena, can he get to that through ball from Felisberto? He does. There's Justino again.
One more time. What a player.
Making the effort to help defend. If he doesn't on that one, I think the center backs might have been in trouble there.
Now, speaking of center backs, Marquinhos, one more defensive header. And by the way, then he turns around and he gives a little high five to Justino because he knows that Justino just cleaned up a mess for him.
I know it takes a mature observer to highlight the defensive midfield position. It's so important to a team's success. It sometimes can get lost on the glitz and glamour of the attacking players, but boy, has Justino been impressive today.
I mean, you're right. Those guys can get lost sometimes, but when you've called his name as many times as you have, easy to pick him out, easier at least.
Good organization.
It's not just the defensive work. It's this right here, making himself available, always available for that outlet, that first ball out, doing something sensible with it.
Down the right side, Botafogo Another run forward. Iago wanted the ball, and his teammates saying, no, 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 easy. We don't need to push it. They're going to keep a possession here. Huguinho.
Yeah, there's that tactical wrinkle. Huguinho still coming in off that right back spot. Coming into the middle, giving his team in possession, an extra central midfielder. There he is, all the way over on the left now, drawing the foul.
That was receiving a pass from Kawa Cruz. Huguinho went down. He was trying to connect with Zappolini, 17.
I mean, and just think about it. It's not that easy because once you come into the middle as an outside back, as soon as your team loses the ball, you've got to get on the gallop and get back into defensive shape, which Botafogo does so well, and you don't want to be the guy that's not in defensive shape.
Yarlin suffers a foul and a yellow card. Felisberto in the 84th minute. And Steve, not that we were rooting for a comeback for the drama's sake, but you're always sort of wondering what the possibilities are. And as we get into the final 6 minutes or so, it's feeling as though those opportunities are getting fewer and fewer for Sao Paulo.
Well, Sao Paulo did create some drama the other day, really being on the wrong side of a game, controlled by Michelin, but right at the end of the last 5 minutes of the second extra time, finding that extra gear, and then when we thought it was about to go into penalty kicks from the spot, Mateus comes up with his third goal and sends his team into the final. They just couldn't come up with enough today. Botafogo very, very close to becoming the 7th team from Brazil to win a Supergroup title.
Botafogo will keep the ball here. Their first final, and they're going to have their first trophy here in the Supergroup. Kleber. Long ball forward. Felipe still battling. Botafogo have numbers. Running forward. Left-footed shot. Oh, power from Rafael Lobato, but not the accuracy as it went over.
Lobato's done a lot of good work today after coming in early from the goal scorer Kake.
So Paulo looking for maybe a consolation. You know that Botafogo would really like to keep a clean sheet this far into the match, especially against their in-country rival.
I mean, Botafogo is becoming a bigger name in soccer. Actually, it's a historically important club. But last year, 2024 campaign was one for the history books. The club achieved a rare double, capturing both the Copa Libertadores and the Brazilian Championship, the Campeonato Serie A. It was Botafogo's first Copa Lib and the first National League title since 1995.
Four minutes plus stoppage time. Kleber didn't hit that well, puts up two hands of an apology. At least when he shanked that one, it went out for a throw-in and not a giveaway. Here's Arnold Pena. Down the right side, Felisberto. Marquinhos stepped in.
Now Felisberto getting forward more now from his right back position, but I think they waited too long to really push him up that right side.
Cassio Neto went down for a minute, grabbing his left foot. He got the ball stuck under him a little awkwardly. He's okay. Osorio. Ooh. Tough hit there. As Felipe Guimaraes was able to get some contact but couldn't get the ball.
Yeah, that was Marquinhos getting in hard from behind.
A battle there between Enrique Bell and Iago. Nicolas bumped but kept it from Rafael. And the foul call brought back for Sao Paulo.
More good defending there from a guy who's brought into play striker, Rafael Lobato.
There's Isak. Bell. Now Felipe. Little dance into the box. Going down. Lucas Chapala wasn't that interested in a half-hearted penalty appeal. And now Botafogo, 5 players getting out on the break. Pass down the left, sliding challenge. Very, very good one by Isak. Not quite the right amount of weight and angle. Otherwise, Yarlin had some room there.
Well, I think what Yarlin needed to do was widen out his run there and create a little better angle. Because you're right, it was 5-on-2, and then one Sao Paulo player getting back quickly to make it at least a 5-on-3. But you've got to spread yourselves out a little bit more and create that angle to make that final pass in.
Ooh, Pena went right through Kawa Cruz. Referee says easy. The Botafogo manager suggesting there may have been a high elbow. I think Kawa Cruz is going to be okay.
It looked like a tight end blocking there.
Botafogo happy to keep it here. We have a minute to go plus stoppages. Kawa. Beat Felipe to the ball. Huguinho. Goes down. Holding his face here. It was Osorio. Referee's going to pull that one back as they tried to play early. They still have a player down. Usually not allowed by the referee. And in case of this one, it also wasn't allowed.
I think Huguinho has earned a little bit of time on the ground. He's done really great work for his team up the right side and then tucking in as another central midfielder with the ball.
Sao Paulo still pressing. Takata down the left side. Nicolas. Stolen away. Zappolini. And that's it. No stoppage time in the second half. And Botafogo has won the 2025 Dallas Cup Gordon Jago Super Group Final. A comprehensive 3-0 victory over their Brazilian counterparts from Sao Paulo. First half goal from the captain, Kaiki. 4 minutes in, then he suffered an apparent hamstring injury, had to be substituted early in the second half. In the 48th minute, it was Januario on the back post run to make it 2, and then Valim with a smashing goal in the 55th minute. 3-0, Steve Davis.
Brazilian teams continue to dominate the Super Group. Botafogo, congratulations for becoming the 7th team out of that soccer mad land to win a championship in the Super Group. Botafogo, Owen, controlling the game from top to bottom, never really allowing Sao Paulo any way into the match. 3-0, I think, is a pretty fair result, and congratulations to the Super Group champions.
Botafogo is the winner of the Ball and Boot Trophy for the Super Group in 2025. First time in the final, they get the victory. And we will step aside, but we will leave you with the sights and sounds of the trophy presentation, the medals for the winners and the runners-up. Congratulations to both Botafogo and Sao Paulo for reaching the Dallas Cup final. That's no easy task. It meant a massive and very talented pool of teams in this super group. Big thank you to Evan for all the work he did to help us with the broadcast over the last few days. For our director, Matt Sam, and for Steve Davis, I'm Owen Newkirk. So long from Toyota Stadium.